Hi, I'm Stephanie Seymour, and this is VH1 Hits the Runway. If you've looked in a magazine lately and thought, hey, I'm better looking than she is, you're not alone. And that's the whole idea. The edgy girl is the hot new look. And all of a sudden, women you might ignore on the streets are strutting their stuff for big-time money.
I was picked on endlessly at school for being the biggest, gawkiest, ugliest girl in the world. Oh yeah. When I was 16, I used to get bullied a lot by boys and things like that. But the girls would come up to me and they'd go, I feel so sorry for you that you're so tall and thin. You know, I mean, what are you going to do when you grow up and you're going to be like that?
It was kind of a little hard for me to get started because I have like different features from like normal people.
10 years ago, the market was definitely pretty, you know, like all the plastic thing going on. And I'm definitely not plastic, so I don't think at all I would have been able to even, I probably would have walked into a model agency and they probably would have said, see you later, you know?
It's like if I was to be around the 80s, I would have been nothing. They would have called me an ugly model. That's the point. That's why I hit the right time modelling now. I don't think I could have done it at any other time, to be honest.
I think that the look of the girls is like, that look like they just come from the street is inspiring because they're just, they're not all posy and all that.
Everybody else outside this business who is interested in fashion can relate to it. You can have somebody really beautiful and then certain people relate to that. Then you can have people who have like a distinctive nose and people can relate to it as well. You can have older models, you can have younger models. So everybody can kind of relate to it in a certain way, which I think is great. Instead of having just like the all-American beauty with like blue eyes, blonde hair.
Because I don't think that when you open up a magazine that you're always seeing the typical, you know, really beautiful, just perfect feature girl anymore, because you're getting a lot more character, probably a lot more than a lot of people want, but they're getting it.
And I think they're getting different things, which is good, you know, and which makes everything special.
And if anything, the trend is intensifying, as the editors of the top fashion magazines showcase women their readers can relate to.
The look right now is individual beauty. We're taking different types of women and we're portraying them as beautiful. We are putting them in the magazine and saying, this girl is beautiful.
Models each have their own personality. It's all about the cult of the personality right now for models. There's not one look, it's not a cookie cutter statement, and I think that's very exciting.
The industry gets a little bored, wants to move on, needs to, you know, break new ground, and not only that, I think people are sort of demanding it. They want to see faces that represent them in a global economy or just the world at large. It's not all about blonde hair and blue eyes.
Never before has there been such a big wide field of looks. Each girl down the runway has her own personality. She may be tall, she may be short, she may be dark or light, and it's just this incredible array of individuals, each more striking than the last.
I think the person who is responsible for bringing more variety onto the runway is Calvin Klein and his unique understanding of wanting to touch more of America and more diversified looks in young men and women.
I've always done that. I mean, I believe in modern, and modern has an edge to it. And so I'm always trying to find new models and new people that are interesting, not just beautiful.
Calvin Klein has almost single-handedly changed the definition of the word supermodel.
I mean, the supermodels in the late 80s were these overblown creatures. They were beauty, they personified beauty beyond our wildest dreams. And in many ways, they were unattainable beauties. I mean, they were what we couldn't even aspire to be in many ways. I think the women of today and the type of woman that we're trying to show today in many respects, is something that every woman can be as beautiful as these women, because they are very individualistic.
It's intermixed. It's not necessarily a blonde girl with blue eyes or a brunette with brown eyes. It's a mix. I find mixes of people to be the most interesting.
Where before the girls were very voluptuous and very sexy, now that doesn't really matter anymore. And the look is more androgynous, but still with a beautiful thing going. This is a great thing for the designers because it really gets to show them some expression. They have so much that they can do now because they don't have to go one way. They can go so many different ways.
They feel something connected to something in themselves where they feel comfortable enough and confident enough to look unconventional. And that inspires me with girls.
Everything changes, music changes, fashion changes, and this is the look that is happening now, and advertisers will always want the look that is happening.
Well, I've always appreciated all kinds of beauty, and I'm excited to see so many exotic, unusual, kind of edgy girls appear everywhere, actually. You see them on runways that you would never see them before. But I think it's good because it sends a really healthy message to viewers everywhere that, you know, it's not about just one kind of person, this sort of, you know, iconic, almost Barbie doll.
One girl that will never be called a Barbie doll is Kristen McMenemy.
She's beautiful. And people think that she's, you know, this edgy girl. Well, she is, you know, but she's also elegant.
When she puts something on, she changes like a chameleon. She is what she's wearing. And then she gives it energy and life. So special and so different that her personality just outshines everything, because for her, she was older than most of the models when she began, and she's quite old for a model. I shouldn't say that because that's not very old at all. But she's just magical. She's so incredible, and if she's doing any of the shows backstage, you'll see. You'll point a camera at her, and she's alive. She does funny things, wonderful things, charming things.
You know, look at all the girls that have not ever been, you know, considered conventional cheerleader types, you know, Christy Brinkley type. And you know, it's everything. It's from her, she's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You know, and me, that's ugly, 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 and then her, that's in the middle. I'm in the middle, and crossroads.
People are just opening up their minds, you know. And I think Kristen McMenemy had loads to do with that. So, because she wasn't, I mean, she's not conventional either, but she went on to do like a lot of work, so then it was more acceptable. And then after her, the door became opened more for like other people to come inside.
You know, every girl can identify with every, you know, my little sister, she identifies with models and she feels ugly, but then she looks at one model and she says, yeah, but she looks like me a little bit, you know, and that's great. I think that's great.
You can't open a fashion magazine without seeing Karen Elson.
Karen is a model who is a complete character. She is so alive, and she brings such a personality to the clothes that she wears and to the pictures that you see her in. Everybody has been turning around to book her, and it's because she is so attractive to everyone, and it's not a typical beauty. It's her personality that reaches out and grabs you.
Obviously unconventional. I don't look like your pretty blonde hair, blue eyes, like I said, but a lot of it's got to do with your personality and the way you just show yourself. I'm not going to come up with any attitude or any rubbish like that because everybody's the same, you know what I mean?
And it's a nice thing for a change to have girls that are a bit different with personality. So they walk their own way and they look their own way and so on. And they project a lot more. It's kind of almost, yeah, it's a character. Like.
I think the stereotypes are constantly being broken. I think we notice now that stereotypes change more quickly. Fashion changes more quickly now. And so the look of the model changes more quickly. So who is hot and who's not can be a revolution of 1 year as opposed to in the past 5 years.
I just think over the last few years there's been like a lot of transformations, transitions happening in the business, and I think it's wonderful that we don't have to be here with stereotypical looking Swedish little blonde button-nosed girls, because you know, there are people that aren't your stereotypical person, and they're still beautiful. And I'm glad the designers appreciate it and use it, because it's really nice to see. And I'm glad I still make the cut.
Fashion always looks for something new and something wonderful, and somebody that could sell their clothes.